Hello, everyone. It is Linda Lang here from thoughtchange.com. We are coming to the end of a very transformative year, both globally and personally. I wanted to do something special for year end, so I've asked UK healer Sonia Grover from Heart Souls Heart. Is that right, Sonia?
Yes,
Heart
heart,
Souls
soul,
Heart
heart. Yes.
com to join me. Sonia was gifted from Spirit a series of symbols which she has made into cards. So we're going to draw a card to, I guess, celebrate the release of 2020 and to call in energy for 2021. So, first of all, welcome, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Why don't you just tell us a little bit more? But before you do that, I also want to say that Sonia's been my guest several times on exploring the mystical side of life. I've had her doing some sound healing. I think you've been a guest 3 times, I believe.
I think so, yeah, because I think we've done the different instruments and talked about the different instruments and yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so I encourage you to check out those podcasts. I'll maybe put them in a link underneath this live when we're all done and bring some beautiful sound healing into your life. But now, Sonia, please tell us a little bit more about the work you do.
Yeah, so I work with sound and with sacred geometry, and this really goes back, probably, I started working with sound when I was about 7, and I was in a percussion group, percussion orchestra at school for about 4 years, and I taught myself to read music, and then I kind of went away from it and came back to it about 15, 20 years ago when I just went on a drumming workshop and bought my first Native American Indian drum, and then it just sort of went from there. So it's kind of self-taught. Some of it was when I was very young, and some of it has been over the last 15 years where it's been self-taught, but also where I've gone on, I've learned specifically different types of sound healing. And how that kind of links with the sacred geometry is I had a big awakening 20 years ago when I was injured and had a really bad back injury and couldn't sit or drive for more than 5 minutes without being in pain. And that was about 22 years ago. And that went on for about a year or two. And then someone suggested healing. And I've never heard of healing before. And anyway, cut a long story short, I went along when within 2 or 3 months it was healed. And I was, hallelujah, I've been healed. I want to heal the world. As I think most people have that similar sort of situation. And what it was that healed me was Reiki. And Reiki, as I think a lot of people will know, is based on the premises of sacred geometry. And so then I studied other forms of healing and other forms of sacred geometry. And then I kind of had a bit of a eureka moment about 7 years ago, funny enough, just after 2012. And we all know what happened in 2012. Another big planetary and individual awakening. And what happened is I started becoming more and more empathic, and I was really struggling with it. I was working, partially doing this work and partially doing management consultancy. And so it came to me to phone a friend. So I phoned a friend and said, just come over. I don't know what you're going to do, but I need some help with this. And she came over, asked me a few questions. I started crying because it really resonated. And then I just started channeling. And I had channeled before, and I had been given symbols before. I started getting symbols about 12 years ago, but they very specifically, and the collective told me they were the Intergalactic Council, and that they would give me symbols that would help me and outwards to humanity, whoever it resonated with. And I was to call them the Heart, Soul's Heart. And the reason for calling them the Heart, Soul's Heart is because they were about connecting our human heart with our soul's heart and the soul's heart of humanity and beyond. And so that's where they came from.
Well, I think it's perfect and a wonderful way to bring in the new year. So, Sandy, would you like me to choose the card to ring out 2020, or would you like to?
I think it would be nice if you did the card to bring out 2020, and then I'll bring the card to bring in 2021.
Okay, and as I've said, it's a little backwards here. These are the cards, and we'll just choose one to say goodbye to 2020. What energy would benefit us to do that with? Oh, it's perfect card. Clarity of vision.
Of vision, which for people, if they see that, they might be familiar with that as looking like the infinity symbol, which it is like the infinity symbol, but with 2 extra dots in it. And you can have it, I've been told quite clearly, it can be either way, this way, so vertical or horizontal. And this is about getting clear on our vision. This is about, so for me, this is absolutely about all this time that most of us have had all over the world, where we've had time to, I've recalled it a retreating phase. I feel that's a slightly nicer way of saying some of the other words that have been used. And what I've found, and I've seen with my clients, but for me personally, very strongly, it has been nearly a whole year or 9 months of really reviewing what it is, how I want my life to be. And so I was kind of merrily going along, was quite happy with kind of how it was, or thought I was quite happy. And because I've been given that time and space to retreat, so I feel that card is about just helping us the final few days of 2020, helping us get clearer on going forward and getting clearer on what it is that we don't want to have in our lives, even if we're not clear on what we do want to bring in, that we're getting very clear. And I don't know, have you found that as well, Linda, that there's been things come up for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Things that I maybe thought I wanted in my life that now I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure. And new doors opening. So I actually really think it's a perfect card, especially in this quiet time at the end of the year, where we can really sit and bring in that clarity and bring that into our intention for 2021.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect card.
It's actually a card that can be for endings and beginnings and reviews, because it's sort of kind of a, well, these are all multidimensional symbols, but that one in particular, just because it says what it does on the tin, literally. So shall I pick a card for?
Absolutely.
2021. Let's see. Okay. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle. You're going to tell me when to stop shuffling, and then you're going to pick a card from however many from the top or from the bottom. How about that?
Perfect. So go ahead and stop.
Okay.
Go from the bottom.
Yeah. How many?
7.
The 7th card.
No, the 8th card, you'll count through 7. 3,
4, 5, 6, 7, and then it's going to be the next one.
Correct.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's not, is it the same one?
No, I forgot to take out the explanation.
I love it. I love it.
So there you go. So should we pick another card? Oh, that's so funny. That's what I love about these lives. You can tell it's live, can't you? Live. That's life. Those things happen. So did you want to take the next one?
Yes. Yes. The next one.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? What's so interesting is, honestly, the card that I had in mind that I felt would be perfect and that had come to me, I didn't say that, is the one that's the next card, which is trying to work out where I put it here. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Completion.
Completion. And completion is about endings and beginnings. So for me, this has a very similar, I'm trying to get that so it doesn't shine on it. I'm going to do it that side. Oh, there we go. If I do it there. Ooh, there. has a very similar vibration to the number 1 or the number 10, where it comes down to the number 1 about endings and new beginnings. So this is actually about the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle, and showing us that we can have both of those polarities existing at the same time. And this is another thing which is so interesting, and I know we've talked about this, about what I've seen in myself and in others, how we are learning to hold sometimes two opposing views about something, and learning to feel comfortable in our own mindset, not what anybody else's views are about anything. And so for me, it's also,
Which is why the clarity of vision is very important.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So it's holding the beginning, just, knowing that we are living in a duality, and it is about the dualities merging, but also about the dualities still being dualities, and being comfortable with that and that whole process, and being and then if we go out wider, being the dualities of us as individual beings, but as part of a collective, as part of a one. So we've got duality everywhere, and that's perfect, where we're having the duality and the oneness, so the completion of the endings and the completion of the new beginnings. Perfect.
And when you consider that we've just entered the age of Aquarius, right? I mean, it really, truly is a wonderful energy to bring with us into the new year.
And, if you've, I'm just looking for it, if anybody's, and if anybody does want, instead of that card, the instructions. That's so funny. I love it when those things happen. And you know what? I was actually thinking, is the instructions still in that pack that I've just shuffled? And they were. And what's so amazing is that, of course, the 8th card is, and in a way it fits really well, because of course the 8th card is about infinity, which is what we've picked with the clarity of vision, never ending. And so an instruction as well, an instruction of how to use the cards and what they stand for, is encompassing it all as well, isn't it? So have I got away with that one?
Well, I think you have.
I put it in quite well.
Even symbolically, for some people, bringing that, or asking, intending for instruction, guidance, direction, could be another meaning for that. Yeah.
Now there's, and I, for me as well, and I don't know if you've seen this again over these 9 months, of how even more so things which did not seem that important, there's synchronicity everywhere. And as an example, I had a group online the other day, and at the moment one woman was sharing about how she was just saying the enlightenment she'd had from something we did last week, and how it clarified things, but she was still on this journey. At that moment, I looked, and on my washing line out there on the post, a magpie landed at the moment she said that. And so when she got to the end, I said to her, I have to tell you, you may want to go and look up. I'm not going to give you any guidance on it. This is for you. Go and have a look and see because this magpie stayed for exactly that moment. So all these things, and I'm guessing you found those things as well. Have you? More synchronicities, more seemingly not so important things, but they're just even more so things are showing us messages.
Yeah. Confirmations and direction. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally great fun having you here, Sonia, today. So thank you for coming on with me. Why don't you tell your website one more time?
So it's www.heartsoulsheart. So heart soul with an S on the end, heart.com. And if anybody is interested in these cards, they are available. And at the moment, I have actually got a little gift for everybody, a free gift prize draw if they did want to be put into that. So if they do, again, they can just get in contact on it. You can put links on there.
So come and visit me at thoughtchange.com. wishing you positive transformation in 2021. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe.